The Private Label Pod with your host Paul Mooney, brought to you by Private Label People.
You just listen and leave the rest up to us.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 10 of the Private Label Pod. I am Paul Mooney. Today we sat down with Robert Rickey and Ali Razul and we spoke about the importance of not selling seasonal products.
Get involved, have your say, ask us a question or leave us a voice message by heading on over to privatelabelpeople.com/podcast.
Hey everybody, we've got Robert and Ali with us again today, carrying on from our previous podcasts. It's currently lunchtime here. I'm pretty hungry. Ali, you and I get a bit hangry at this time of the day whenever we haven't had our lunch, so we'll have to sort that after. And somebody has been cooking.
Am I going to have to get in the middle of you two here in a second? Bit ahead of each other?
No, I actually thought ahead. I just had lunch, so I'm good. I even had a coffee as well.
Forget it. That's the smell I get coming from the kitchen at the minute that's making me worse. But anyway, but I hope you're both well. How's your morning been? Busy, productive as usual, Ali?
Yeah, it was nice. I got in quite early, and it was nice because sun hasn't risen, and it was nice and dark, and we found out that we can get Alexa to play any song we want. So me and Noel put on some loud Beastie Boys to wake us up.
Yeah.
In fact, I put it on, and then he's walked in. I didn't expect anyone to come in, so it was just me. So
was it my favourite Beastie Boys tune's got to be Sabotage?
Yeah, it was that one exactly.
What a tune! And you like dark mornings?
I do. Something about just kind of getting in and just almost getting a bit of a head start. I'm an early riser generally, so it's just kind of like that time without any distraction to just get stuck in. And also it works best with talking to suppliers. It's their afternoon, evening time, and if I leave it too late, then I miss that window.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm more of a spring type of guy, summer guy. I like the bright mornings, but you should go and live in Lapland. It's a good time of the year to go to Lapland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then on the flip side, it's 24-hour sunlight in the summer, so yeah, I'll need some thick curtains for that.
I'm exactly the same as you, Paul. It's like these months are killer whenever it's 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning and it's still pitch black. It's just horrible. And I think I would get a little bit of that SAD, that sort of seasonal adjustment disorder, whereas during the summer months or the spring months, I'm happily get up at a sensible hour. I wouldn't say I'm an early morning person like we talked about before, nor am I a night owl, but sort of in the middle. But I much prefer the later mornings. The dark mornings just destroy my mood.
I'm glad. I hope everybody's okay out there. Sorry about this. I was going to say I'm glad we could remember what seasonal adjustment disorder stands for because we couldn't remember what Oscar stands for.
I hope everybody's okay out there and dealing with the dark mornings. Me, not so much. So we might have to lighten the mood here on this.
We'll have to get one of those little lights that you get for dark mornings that people have in their bedrooms.
I know somebody in Donegal's got a few of those.
Does he sell them on Amazon?
He might have. He's got them in his RV.
Well, speaking of products that you would that would be seasonal, I suppose it would be a good question to ask. How important is it to not get overly involved in seasonal products? Ali, do you feel that coming up to Christmas, I would imagine, well, if you're doing it now, if you're only researching them now, you're doing it for next Christmas, I assume, but you wouldn't want to get too deep into seasonal products, would you?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a ton of reasons why we don't. It's not to say that you can't build it into your portfolio. It's definitely something that we wouldn't recommend, especially to newer sellers. I don't have any seasonal products in my portfolio, and I don't have the need to or the plan to. It's not as predictable as your everyday non-seasonal item where you have your reports and you can see it performs to a certain level. Whereas if you've got something seasonal, you're building up to one event. That one event passes and you're left with stock or didn't have enough stock, then one or two is going to be the problem there.
Yeah.
I think what you say there, Ali, is very true, because what you're doing is you're almost aiming for average. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and that's just not going to happen. So you've got the perfect amount of stock that you sell out of exactly to the unit in order to be ecstatic. And actually, it's just getting it average, it's just getting it right. 9 times out of 10, you're either going to have too much or too little. And that's, if you've got too little and you're going to look at this and say that was an opportunity cost, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, all those different things. So even though you've had a good period, you've been successful, you're still going to view it as it could have been more successful. You're going to have that gap thinking rather than the gain. And again, you know, if you had ordered 500 units, you'd sold out of 400, you've got 100 to keep, and you're going to start going into, oh, I've got to store these and this, that and the other, and if I got my number. So you're never going to be happy with that side. And I think too, there's levels of seasonality, right? So if we take potentially the worst case scenario, I guess, in terms of seasonality, is probably like Halloween, because it's only one day. And everything, like, it's not even a build up to Halloween. You know, if you're doing a Halloween party and you've got sort of like decorations or something, you're going to have that party on the 31st of October. So there's no real build up. Christmas, you know, not that we would ever do Christmas trees or anything like that, but at least there is a build up period. People buy those halfway through November. They buy them, you know, at the start of December. Some people who are maybe a little bit late, they're buying them towards the period, so that's a little bit better. And then you would have a seasonality that sometimes we do get involved in, which would be a period of time. So if it's a cold weather product, a winter product, let's say, or an autumn winter product, that season lasts 6 to 7 months, and some of the items that we would have don't collapse after that, but they certainly go down. So I would say that there's tiers, or there's levels to seasonality.
Yeah. And also, there's, I mean, if you live in somewhere like Australia, you sell barbecue products. They're a seasonal product here in the UK and Ireland, but they're not. Certainly not in Australia. They're not.
Yeah, and take a continental landmass like the US. It's huge. So if you look at the northern states compared to, say, Florida, well, you know, Florida is a hell of a lot more sunny, or it's warmer the whole year round than, say, North Dakota or New York or somewhere like that. You know, they're more, actually more geographically seasonal. So it depends.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got a product that you've never sold a seasonal product, Robert, either? Or?
Yeah, now you're asking. No, I don't. I can't think of one right off the top of my head that was ever been seasonal. Some of the products that we have, I sort of use the phrase they have more seasonality in certain seasons, because there's been products which have a parent item that the parent item. So, like, for example, whenever I was selling television wall mounts, which was one of my first kind of products, that was imported, January and February were always great months. And the only reason was because people bought big TVs at Christmas, or, as we were talking about on a previous podcast, on Black Friday after they'd killed 3 people to get it. Or $4.99.
Yeah, there's probably a few of our members that aren't able to listen to this podcast because they're currently serving jail time for going ballistic on the Black Friday sale.
Well, at least they got 2 massive screen TVs out of it, but they can watch from their cell.
Yeah, well, Cyber Monday came and went. Did you get that PlayStation, Ali?
No, I completely forgot about that.
I did mean to reach out to you, actually, because I didn't know. You'd sort of intimated that you were going to buy one, and then I was going to buy you one as a present, and then I thought, if he's already bought one, then it'll be a real damn squid, so I didn't get it to you.
We could always go down the line of reselling, but we'll not. So, what about, obviously then, we're into after Christmas. I should ask, I mean, would you actively dissuade somebody, before we move on, would you dissuade somebody from ever selling a seasonal product? Or if somebody's probably listening that has a seasonal product and is maybe doing well, but alongside their other products, certainly you don't want to base a whole portfolio on Christmas, but if they've one product every year that's doing well, you wouldn't dissuade them from it, would you? Well,
for me, it's it's more of the bigger picture, and how many products there are available on Amazon. So, we're geared towards the more average, boring style bland products, and there's more than enough of those types of products which we can foresee and we can plan, and we are looking for that average, as Robert was talking about. So if we've got a complete surplus of that, why would we ever want to dabble into something? But I'd never say never, but I just understand that the difficulty that comes with it.
Yeah,
I think I wouldn't do it myself personally.
I think also it's like, if this is one of your early products in your business, then I would dissuade them.
Okay.
Because the risk factor really comes in.
Okay.
Now, the reward factor also comes in, but the reward comes in speed, it comes in time, where you can sell out your entire quantity in a shorter period of time, which obviously increases the investment percentage, or the profit on that investment percentage, just by timeline. If you can make the same amount of money back in 3 months that you could in a year, well, then your percentages go up. Right? I'm not going to get all mazzy on us, but that's really your reward, would be getting that money back quicker. So it becomes then, if the reward goes up and there's a risk involved, that to me sounds like the word gamble. And therefore, I don't like doing that. I would much prefer, as what Ali says, there's a hell of a lot of a catalogue there of these bland, boring products that we know that we can sell all year round. And therefore, yep, the reward comes down a little bit in terms of time, but the risk comes down significantly as well.
Absolutely, and it's now coming obviously towards the end of this year, 23, and moving into 24. January is always a little bit of a sticky month in terms of where it's going to go, but then we've got Chinese New Year also. What in the Chinese New Year, how long of a window do they usually take as a break? Is it less than what it used to be, do you find now?
I wouldn't say it's less. Well, I mean, in terms of them being able to get stuff out and get stock shipped, that period is generally the same as it is, just because all the freight forwarders and the logistical side of things, they go on hold for about a month.
Yeah.
Whereas, some of the factories do come back early just to get a bit of a head start. So early discussions can be happened, but no production would start obviously until everybody's back and the freight forwarders are ready to ship the goods out.
I think people have got to get an understanding of what Chinese New Year looks like in China, because I think it's like we've got this complete misconception. I think we feel it's just like a Western holiday, like a Christmas holiday or like an Easter holiday, where we have 3 or 4 days off, and people who work in the office or work in the business, that they live or they're from somewhere close by. Like we were talking the other day, Paul, about, your commute into the office. And in Northern Irish terms, your commute's pretty large, right? It's like sort of 40, 45 minutes. Of course, if there's any school bags missing, it's 2.5 hours. But whenever you look at the Chinese New Year and you look at the culture, the manufacturing, there's a lot of people who are from provinces and places which is very much inland in China, far, far away. Look at the size of the country. And they work towards more of those port areas where there's more manufacturing. And whenever Chinese New Year comes along, they go back to where they're from. And that travel can take days, could even take a week before they get back to their families, and then they're having their celebrations in Chinese New Year, and then they've got to make their way back in again. So it's completely different. And I think people, especially people who are into importing, private label selling, we should appreciate that. Yeah. This is a different culture. It's a different way of doing things. So we've got to be able to then plan our businesses around it, but we shouldn't expect it to be a 3-day holiday or a 1-week holiday. It is what it is. If you fail to prepare for that, then you may prepare to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. But it also gives you a chance to reset. If it is a little bit quieter in that part of your business, it gives you a chance to then get more into your research side of things, Ollie.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only the research side, anything else that you can kind of do a reset on if your reporting's out of whack. If that time to do a spring clean on your entire business. Anything that you've got control over that doesn't involve the supply chain, that's always a great place to start, a great time to start.
And some of that as well, Ali, comes in. It's like, speaking with people who do a lot of the sampling for us or looking at some numbers, they're planning. Now, that can still go on because it's not exactly factory based. Some of it is, of course, but while the production shuts down, there are some other areas that stay open for a little bit longer, which allows you to go into, I would call it like a building phase. So you're able to build the blocks back up again, because we know, and at least we should expect, that a lot of people who are considering doing a new product reorders, they should be out of the traps as soon as this shuts down to get all their ducks in a row, not to believe in the new order until the end of March. That's just an opportunity cost. You're just throwing away new revenue, new profits, or a reorder of a product. Get out of the traps as early as possible. So every single person listening to this, whenever they are shutting down, in inverted commas, for Chinese New Year, they should go back to planning. They should go back to the reporting that you're talking about, so that as soon as Chinese New Year finishes, it's jack in a box. Let's get rocking with new orders and new products.
Absolutely. You're both quite good cooks. I have it. It's been told to me. Are you good in the kitchen at Christmas? Are you the main man on the cooker at Christmas, Ali? Or is
you Walter White, Ali? Is that sort of cooking you're doing at Christmas?
Yeah, I got my goggles ready.
Yeah. That makes me Jesse then.
Yeah, no, I do love my kitchen time, but we're actually going back to London, visit my parents. So my dad was a chef for the whole of his life, so he will not let me get involved with that. So and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, day to day, it's definitely me that does Mickey's gonna be angry here. But
I don't think she listens. It's fine. No.
I don't think she does. So it's all right. But I enjoy the cooking, and I enjoy the prep. And I think I said in a post recently, I find it very therapeutic, just because you're in there and you're in that zone, and you're not thinking about anything else. You're not solving problems in your head. The only problems you're trying to solve is deciding whether or not to do the dishes directly after.
What sort of Christmas dinner does your dad make? Is it?
He does a turkey, and depending on if we've got extended family coming over, he might put on a lamb as well. So and all the sides, yeah.
Oh, very nice, Robert. You're a traditionalist. Do you like turkey? Do you eat turkey?
Yeah. I'd have it. But I think now that kids are a little bit older, I tend to change it up a little bit. In terms of, I think this year I'm going to do a couple of big steaks, just for something a little bit different. Because sometimes, especially whenever you're eating turkey and ham, it can get a little bit samey. And by the time you get to the 25th of December, it's like, if I see another turkey and ham dinner, I'm going to scream.
You just can't get enough dried meat at this time of year. Test your dentures out. Yeah, absolutely.
How tired can I feel after eating?
Just on another subject, in regards to product reviews, somebody asked me a question this week about how many reviews of a product do you think is too many when you consider selling it. And I had read somewhere it was in the range of 100 reviews. You wouldn't want more than that on a product. Would you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a big advocate of people not looking too much into reviews, right? Because it goes back now probably about 10 years, and it was an old black hat tactic where people would give their product away free in order to get reviews. And this was suggested by a lot of gurus out there because it sounded like something that they could talk their way into. But whenever you look at the numbers and the statistics behind it, it's complete fabrication. Because if reviews are an indication of sales, right, and I guess you would call it sales rank, that would mean that if you go into the category, by my logic anyway, the number one selling product inside that category would have the most reviews. Go and check it out. It's not the case. right? It's not the case. And you'll also see products that are selling extremely well, which do not have an awful lot of reviews. So I guess whenever people are looking at selling a particular product or going into a certain niche or niche, they put obstacles in their way. And one of those obstacles is, the competitors' products have too many reviews. Right? I'll ask you this. When's the last time that you were buying something bland and boring that you knew you were looking for on Amazon, and you went in and you said, oh, hang on a wee second, this one's only got 6 reviews, this one's got 1,500, I'll buy the one with 1,500. I've never done that in my life. I don't think there's too many people have either. So we don't buy on the stars beside the reviews 9 times out of 10. We buy on features, we buy on what we've found, because we've gone to Amazon to buy something. That's exactly what we're doing.
You said they're niche. Is niche pronounced?
We say niche. Americans say niche.
Didn't know that. Do you know what else I found out the other day? I found this.
They say lots of weird things.
Well, the little bit of toothpaste you put on your toothbrush, it's called a nub, apparently. But the bit that I found out that actually, when I was reading Bluetooth, do you know where that comes from?
No.
It was a Nordic king.
Yeah.
And he was called
Mr. Bluetooth?
King Bluetooth. Yeah. So that's where Bluetooth comes from. And the symbol for it is something to do with that.
Was he really irritating and kept disconnected?
He's a very disconnected individual from his Viking tribe. Yep. Yeah. I thought you were going to say, was he really annoying and kept going off topic, which was me.
No, that's you.
What I would ask is, how would a member increase the reviews on their seller account, do you feel? What is the best way of increasing reviews?
Time.
Okay.
That's my answer. Time and patience. The thing that nobody seems to want to have, but allowing that time, because all it is it's not going to do an awful lot for the sessions of a product. It's not going to do an awful lot for the unit session of the product, and that's all I'm interested in. I'm interested in how many visitors are you getting to that product, and what is the percentage of visitor that you're turning from a browser into a buyer. That's it.
Ali, did you ever give up on a product and wish that you'd just given it more time?
No.
Thanks.
No, I was just thinking about I was always go back to the review thing, just because it's such an interesting thing, if you don't mind. Because I think I know where it comes from, and I think you touched on it as well, Robert. It's the YouTube gurus who like to really obsess about it, and I've watched a ton of these videos back in the day, those years before I actually had the courage to do anything. I watched countless amount of these videos, and exactly the same thing. It was like, get reviews onto your listing, do it any means necessary, and you'll have much success.
Put in an insert.
Yeah.
Get the insert in there.
Yep, exactly. And
do the review, give it away for free.
Yeah.
We've seen these over and over and over again, and I've never done any of them.
Yeah, and I think because people have seen that, it's just left this kind of it's brought baggage where it was just not needed, that reviews have anything to do with anything, and it's like, really, it should not be the focus. Your offering should be the focus. Your research should be the focus. That's the way to attract reviews, if any. And even then, that shouldn't be the focus. I always like to welcome people to the 1-star review club, because everyone at some point who has some size of a portfolio is going to have a new product, and their first review is a 1-star. And most of the time, it's not even a review; it's just a 1-star. And I know the pain is real, because everybody's gone through it. And I welcome people to that 1-star review club, because it's almost like an initiation into this club, because everyone's going to go through it. Everyone's going to feel that pain, and they're going to want to do anything to turn it around. Contact Amazon. I've done that. But then, these things level out. If your product is good quality, your offering is good, it's going to level out. So don't focus on it.
You're obviously men, both of you, blessed with great patience. Funnily enough, Ali, that's what your wife was saying on the podcast last week. Did you listen to that podcast with your wife?
No, I haven't actually listened to it. No.
He's not allowed to.
I could get away with lying.
Please do. That would make a hell of a lot more interesting conversation.
I have to say, Michaela was on last week and she went down a storm, so she did very, very well. I think you were trying to drop her into your place this week, weren't you? So you could get off the hook. We strong-armed you in here. Just going to say thank you, both of you, once again for joining us. It was a good chat, and I'm sure everybody at home are getting ready for Christmas. But if you are getting ready for Christmas now, don't be thinking that you're going to start getting your Christmas products into Amazon for next year. Would that be right? Would you agree with that?
Agreed.
Okay, guys. Thanks very much, and we'll speak again soon.
Get involved, have your say, ask us a question, or leave us a voice message by heading on over to privatelabelpeople.com/podcast.
Well, there you go. I hope you find that good to listen to, everybody. I hope it also stressed the importance of not getting too involved in selling seasonal items. At Private Label People, we like to train you to think all year round and not just for one particular season. So thanks for that. Thanks to Robert and Ali, and we'll speak to you again soon.